This administration is shameful. Y'all are a disgrace.
We're watching the fall of this administration.
Yeah,
what I think is interesting about this case, this story, is you can be highly legal.
In the small but increasingly politically charged town of Dune, Illinois, tensions are reaching new heights as a fierce power struggle unfolds. The latest clash between Mayor Tiffany Henyard and trustee Kiana Beller has ignited intense debate and deepened divisions within the community. What initially seemed like a routine political disagreement has escalated into a heated battle over transparency, accountability, and leadership. Trustee Beller has emerged as a vocal critic of Henyard's administration, openly challenging what she describes as a troubling lack of transparency in town affairs. Her concerns have resonated with many residents, turning routine board meetings into contentious arenas where emotions run high and sharp disagreements dominate discussions. While some firmly support Henyard, believing she is navigating difficult challenges as best as she can, others align with Beller's calls for greater openness and stronger oversight of town leadership. As the conflict intensifies, the focus has shifted beyond ordinary governance to broader issues of integrity and public trust. Meetings that once followed standard procedures have now become battlegrounds, with each new development in the dispute drawing heightened public scrutiny. The growing divide between Henyard's supporters and Beller's backers shows no signs of closing, raising concerns about the town's ability to function effectively. With tensions escalating and no resolution in sight, Dune's political landscape remains increasingly volatile. The outcome of this ongoing battle for power and accountability will shape the future of the town's leadership for years to come. As residents take sides and emotions continue to flare, one thing is certain: the political drama in Dune is far from over, and the next moves in this standoff will be critical in determining the town's future.
In a room filled with curiosity and concern, Tiffany Henyard addressed her constituents.
The Thornton Township Supervisor and Dalton Mayor invited the community to Township Talk, where she responded to our report about her use of the township credit card by mentioning...
In the village of Dalton, Illinois, tensions are mounting as trustee Kiana Beller continues to challenge the administration of Mayor Tiffany Henyard, particularly on financial matters. As one of the board's most vocal members, Beller has closely scrutinized the village's financial affairs, with a particular focus on expenditures related to EXP in Dubai. Allegations of financial mismanagement have surfaced, with critics accusing Henyard of exceeding the budget and deliberately obstructing access to financial records to evade oversight. These concerns have raised serious questions about Henyard's leadership, and a recent altercation during a board meeting has further exposed the deeper issues plaguing her administration. During a particularly tense meeting, financial mismanagement became a key topic of discussion. Beller raised pointed concerns about the village's spending, especially regarding suspiciously categorized costs. When the issue of expenditure and allocation charges was brought up, Beller was unwilling to let it pass unquestioned. She asked whether a predetermined financial limit had been set for these expenses, only to discover that certain costs had been paid without prior board approval. After a moment of awkward silence, the town's attorney attempted to justify the expenditures, arguing that they were covered by a special event fund that required no pre-approval from the board. The lawyer further explained that individual payments under $5,000 could be processed without prior authorization, though invoices could still be approved retroactively. However, upon further questioning, it was revealed that invoices for the event in question had been intentionally split into smaller amounts, each under $5,000, to circumvent the approval process. This revelation did not sit well with Beller, who refused to overlook what she viewed as a deliberate attempt to bypass oversight. She voted against the motion and emphasized that the entire process appeared to be misleading and lacking transparency. In response, Henyard defended the practice, asserting that all expenses remained within the allocated budget and dismissing Beller's objections as nothing more than political theatrics. Beller, a steadfast advocate for accountability and transparency in local government, maintained that it was the trustees' duty to question and hold the mayor accountable for financial decisions. Some suggested that these concerns could have been addressed in private discussions, but Henyard has historically preferred to handle such matters behind closed doors, away from public scrutiny. Beller's insistence on transparency resonated strongly with the audience present at the meeting, further intensifying the charged atmosphere. public reaction underscored the growing frustration within the community, with many residents believing the issue went beyond isolated financial disputes. Instead, they saw a troubling pattern of reckless spending, lack of transparency, and a disregard for accountability, hallmarks of Henyard's administration that have only worsened over time. A recent incident has only deepened public concerns. During one board meeting, Henyard presented the village budget at an unusually late hour, 3:26 p.m., leading to complaints from board members and residents alike. Trustee Beller voiced her frustration, claiming the timing was intentionally chosen to prevent thorough review before a vote. She pointed out that previous administrations had presented budgets earlier, allowing ample time for public examination and feedback. Rather than addressing Beller's concerns, Henyard dismissed them outright, showing little interest in public input or transparency. This lack of openness in financial matters is indicative of a broader issue. Henyard's tendency to downplay legitimate concerns and sidestep accountability. Her tenure as mayor has been marked by a glaring double standard. As a trustee, she was known for her meticulous scrutiny of the budget, questioning even minor discrepancies. However, as mayor, she appears indifferent to questionable financial decisions, justifying them without adequate explanation. For instance, she once fought for increased funds for tree maintenance, arguing over even minor budgetary constraints. Now, her lack of concern for financial oversight raises serious suspicions within the community. Further evidence of financial mismanagement emerged during a credit card scandal. Henyard had authorized transactions totaling tens of thousands of dollars on the village's credit card without providing proper documentation or explanations. When the finance director revealed that the village's credit cards had actually been canceled the previous year, outrage grew among residents and trustees alike. Beller, along with other concerned officials, demanded to know why these deactivated cards were still being used. Henyard's defense was weak. She continued to insist that the charges were justified, despite the absence of supporting documentation. As the investigation into the credit card transactions unfolded, scrutiny of Henyard's leadership intensified. At one point, she even accused board members and other respected community figures of embezzling village funds. These accusations were not only baseless, but also inflammatory, further fueling the sense of crisis surrounding her administration. In response, trustees presented evidence contradicting her claims, demonstrating that village finances, including questionable expenditures, were managed directly under Henyard's control. Bank records confirmed that she had maintained oversight of account management, despite her earlier denials. Even in the face of mounting evidence, Henyard continued to portray herself as a victim, accusing political rivals of conspiring to tarnish her reputation and diminish her influence. Her refusal to take responsibility for her actions has left many residents questioning her ability to lead effectively. Public frustration with Henyard's leadership has reached a boiling point. Once surrounded by a loyal base of supporters, she now faces growing disillusionment among her constituents. Scandals, secrecy, and a blatant lack of transparency have eroded trust in her administration. Many residents are now asking whether Henyard is truly committed to serving the community or if she is simply focused on preserving her political standing at all costs. The larger issue now confronting Dalton is whether Henyard's administration will continue to undermine the village's future by prioritizing political maneuvering over effective governance. As public confidence in her leadership continues to deteriorate, the community finds itself at a critical crossroads. The path forward remains uncertain, and the outcome of this political struggle will have lasting consequences for Dalton's future. Whether Henyard can regain the trust of her constituents, or if a new leader will emerge to restore stability, remains to be seen. What is clear, however, is that Dalton's political landscape has undergone a dramatic shift, and the fallout from this ongoing turmoil will shape the village's governance for years to come.
Can adhere to some financial limits. We're not looking.
The growing divide between Mayor Tiffany Henyard and the other trustees in Dune, Illinois, has become increasingly apparent, particularly as tensions escalate over financial transparency and governance. Trustee Kiana Beller, along with her colleagues, has consistently pushed for openness and collaboration. However, Henyard, leveraging her position of authority, continues to assert that the board has no role in day-to-day operations. Her rigid stance has only fueled concerns that she is more focused on consolidating power than on serving the people of Dune. Frustration among residents is mounting as political infighting overshadows the town's pressing needs. Many, including community members like Daryl Way, believe that public officials should prioritize the well-being of the community rather than personal agendas. Trustee Kiana Beller has remained steadfast in her commitment to accountability and transparency, determined to ensure that the interests of the people are not lost amid the growing political discord.